making money, whether it's online or with a physical business, isn't difficult. But a lot of people make it difficult for themselves without realizing it. So let me explain why you're making it hard for yourself and why it feels so damn hard for you to make money online and why you're not making progress. Now, a lot of people are going to tell you that you're not working hard enough. They're going to tell you that the reason that you don't make money is because of your talent or your network or your experience or how much you have to invest or all these things. There's lots of excuses and reasons that people will give you or that you will give yourself as to why you're not making money. Most of those, all of them, pale in comparison to the one idea that I'm about to share with you that made me a very, very wealthy man at a very, very young age. And that is that making money is all about delaying gratification. Now, I know that you've read your 300 self-help books and you've watched thousands of self-development videos and you know all about delayed gratification. In fact, you've probably been on your self-improvement grind and you probably have your journaling and your gym and your NoFap and your combat sports and your keto diet. But that's not what I'm talking about here, because you can understand like how to work hard to develop yourself and improve yourself. None of that really matters. It's not about that. That doesn't help you make money. The truth is that making money, like I said, is delayed gratification. And what that means is that the money that you make today, if you were making any, comes from the work that you did a long time ago. And so there's a lapse of time, or latency, if you'd like, between an action, i.e. working hard or selling something or building a business or building a product or building a brand, and making money. And a lot of people, they can't stand latency. And so the reason that you're poor and the reason that so many people are broke in this day and age, specifically young men, because we tend to be the ones that want to make all the money for the status and stuff, is we can't cope with latency. And remember, latency is the term used to denote the time elapsement between doing hard work and receiving the financial reward. Now, basically, recently I was looking at some of the top viewed YouTube videos on how to make money online, because I was just doing some research on video ideas and I thought, oh, I'll just check these out. And the videos that clear 3 million views, 5 million views, 6 million views, 10 million views on how to make money online are videos that basically sell you this dream about how to make really fast money really quickly with as little to no work as possible. And the reason those videos are so popular and the reason they do so well, and I'm going to try and get out of the wind here before we get a problem, the reason these videos are so popular and do so well is because they perfectly appeal to the instant gratification brain of our generation. So let me explain. Your brain doesn't understand context of activity. And what that basically means is your brain can't tell the difference. It cannot tell the difference between the action of starting a business or smoking weed or playing video games or watching porn. I'm not going to say the word in case I get demonetized. Watching pornography. God, what has the world come to? Or, like drinking or any of these things. So all of these actions that you take in your personal life, what they do is they wire your brain to expect instantaneous reward from your actions. And so what happens on a neurological and neurochemical and biological brain level when you try and do the work is your brain is like, hang on a minute, I've just done an action and I haven't received any sort of reward for it. And this is tracked against your dopamine levels and your serotonin levels and your other neurochemical levels. And so people, by engaging in instant gratification and by taking these behaviors, and let's just try and get in the house here because it's a bit windy, by engaging in these instant gratification, like instantaneous feedback loop behaviors, trying to make money is impossible. Because what happens is every time you engage in instant gratification, whether it's eating chocolate, whether it's something as simple as scrolling on social media, all the way down to the destructive ones like watching pornography, or I said the word, pornography, right? Or anything, right? Whether it's going on a massive bender or doing heroin or something bad. Like those things, what they do is they thicken your brain. They thicken your brain in a way that wires it for instant gratification. So we're in the house now. We're out of the wind. Have a look at this place. I'll show you the living rooms. It's a little bit noxious. We've got a little grand piano here, which I do not know how to play. Anyway, so in your brain you have these like, what would you call it? Like circuits. That's a pretty good way to look at it. Circuits. And every time you engage in a behavior, circuits get thickened. And so your brain is basically a pattern recognition machine. And the more often you do something, the more often that thing is thickened and thickened, which means the more often you behave it out. And that's why people kind of get stuck in these instant gratification loops in their life. And it's why as soon as you go to try and make money, you can't find the motivation. And this is the most interesting thing about people who try and make money who don't, is you ask them, like, why have you not made money yet? Why are you unsuccessful? Like, why can't you seem to build a business? And they're always like, I just don't have the motivation. That's usually like the number one excuse that people give. So, I just either don't have the idea or I don't have the motivation. And the irony is that if you had the motivation, you would find the idea, right? And so what that basically translates to is their instant gratification mechanism in their brain is kind of, it's like directly telling them, like, how the hell do you expect me to produce the motivation for you to find the idea or execute on the idea because you've given me... Did someone just open a door? I think I'm tripping. This house might be haunted. Keep hearing like doors slamming and stuff. It's kind of cool, this house, but it is a bit freaky when you're here on your own. So like, how can you expect yourself to have the motivation or the inspiration to work hard when all you fed yourself is instantaneous reward? So this brings me back to my point. Like, look, I am a millionaire, right? So I'm a multi-millionaire. I've made like coming up to $40 million with my business and my online businesses in the last few years. And I get to live this kind of sick life now. So I'm 27 years old. I get to stay in cool houses like this and spend stupid amounts of money on holidays and like anything. I can pretty much do anything I want whenever I want, which is a really good time for me. And that's really rewarding. And when I get to buy things or go on holidays or rent out castles, by the way, this is rented, I don't actually live here, I get massive dopamine release, right, from doing these things. But the cool thing is I can track that dopamine release back to the work that I did when I was like 18, 19, 20, 21. And so it took me maybe like 3-4 years to become a millionaire. And I worked like I've never worked before to make that happen. And so what that basically meant is I was constantly delaying gratification. And during my first couple of years in business for myself, what I did intentionally, and I still kind of do this now, is I stripped myself of all behaviors that would encourage any sort of instantaneous dopamine feedback loop. And so in my first couple of years as an entrepreneur, what I did is I didn't eat any junk food, with a couple of exceptions, for like a year. I stopped dating. I completely quit video games. I stopped drinking. I stopped partying. I stopped socializing. I stopped watching Netflix. Everything. Like, my life became this sort of, honestly, it was kind of a dark place. I wasn't happy. I didn't do anything that produced any sort of happy chemicals in my brain for like a good year and a half. But what that did is, all I did is replace all of those things with this massive block of work, which was really painful. But now, having been doing this for like 10 years, I get to see the rewards of those blocks of work. And the cool thing is the rewards that I experience having seen so much latency between the work and the reward are huge in comparison to the rewards that I get from the instant stuff. So like, for example, when I was 18, what I could have done is just play video games and, just messed around on League of Legends and eating loads of junk food and gone partying all the time. And I could have done that and it would have felt pretty good at the time. But 10 years later, here I am, 27, nearly 28 years old, and I get these huge, huge rewards which feel a million times better than just leveling up on some gun or, eating some junk food. Like, it's crazy. So all of that to say, like, if you want to be rich and if you want to be a millionaire and if you want to just make some money and actually stop like being a loser, stop seeking instant gratification anywhere in your life, everywhere. Like, you can't just be like, you kind of have to all or nothing this. You can't just be like, oh, I'm just going to like, just like slowly like cut out things. No, you've got to go like complete cold turkey, like remove all the instant gratification. And you want to basically like cut that part of your brain out, sort of like root and stem, if that makes sense. And I'm telling you, it's worth it, because what starts to happen, the wind's died down a bit now, we'll go outside. What starts to happen is you like after a couple of years, you get to come and do stupid shit and buy really expensive things like this place. Like, you know, I'm renting this out for some little retreat that I'm doing for work, and well, I'm just gonna end the call there. And it's like, you get to just look. I mean, this is ridiculous. Like, what the fuck? Like, what 27-year-old or guy in his mid to late 20s deserves this? Like, you don't. But if you suffer properly, adequately, for a long enough period of time, then you get to start doing the shit that really is rewarding, and it's so worth it. It is so worth it. I couldn't even begin to explain it to you. What I've tried to do here is I can explain a fraction of how good it feels. But yeah, that's it. Bye.